I always pose it to clients as like you have a decision matrix with 4 boxes really. And it's on one side is buy or sell, on the other side is stock goes up, stock goes down, you know?
Right.
And then in your real life, you have a list of financial priorities you need to hit. I want to
Right.
retire. I want to put my kids through college. And so like if the future is just, a dispersion of probabilities and you have to figure out which plan has the highest probability of you achieving success,
That's what you
it
go into.
always comes back to a dollar cost averaging out of the company
Yeah.
stock and applying the proceeds to these other financial goals that will be there regardless of the company you're at,
Sure.
And there's a certain type of personality that's like, yes, please do that. Thank you. But then there's the other personality where I actually wish I could be a little more like this, especially with my golf game. But no, I wanna kind of go for it. It's like a little bit of
Yeah.
a riverboat gambler,
Yeah.
like because I've seen those people be really successful with that strategy, and it's kind of like, hey, if I listen to you, geez, I wouldn't have nearly what I have now. And you're like, I know, but
Yeah.
it could have gone the other way. Let's,
Totally.
manage it. But life's about trade-offs. If you
Yeah.
want
And
to
balance.
access the money, you have to pay the tax. We'll
Yeah.
help you pay as little tax as possible. And then the other thing too is FOMO. I mean, I call it financial FOMO. It's the opportunity cost of selling company share. Your inputs for decision making will not always produce the best outcome. So you could go with the dollar cost averaging out of the equity compensation and meet all your goals at that time and lose out on the greatest fortune in the world where all of your colleagues are, 100 times richer than
Sure.
you. You
Sure.
just have to be willing to accept that,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the other side of it is
It can
you
go the
could,
other way. If you're getting towards an event where you're going to have to start using those funds or that single stock position to fund your lifestyle, because at a certain point, people are going to have to, when they retire, they got to figure out how to create an income stream from somewhere, right? And if things don't line up, and in my experience, things never line up. Whenever you make a decision to hold a single stock position, it's going to go down right when you need it. That's my experience,
yeah,
right?
no, I know. You're taking on way more
It's
risk.
the best advice I ever heard on tax planning is that the goal isn't to pay the minimum amount of taxes in a given year. It's to pay the minimum amount of taxes over a lifetime. I mean, I see this a lot of times with like legacy portfolios and concentrated stock positions that have just been, wagging people for however many years that they can't get their head around divesting and starting to diversify because they just don't want to pay the tax to do that.
Yeah,
But there's almost like two ways to look at like tax planning and gain budgets and things. Like one perspective is rates and is rate differential and where you are today versus where you could be in the future and filling up certain brackets. And then the other perspective is just like how much pain can this person take in pure dollar amount, right? And
yeah,
sometimes the latter
yeah. The
outweighs the former, even though it, hypothetically speaking, or like in practice, it shouldn't if we're thinking about things in the right way here.
No, I've seen this is such an insane problem that you never imagine would actually exist, but it's almost like you see people and they don't want their accounts to go, their equity compensation
Yeah,
to go up any further because it means their tax bill's going to go up. How are you going to help a client if they can't kind of almost get past a certain issue that you don't feel is worth their time? If they're getting hung up on something, whether it's like they have a philosophical objection to paying any taxes at all. And if they have to write $1 of check to the IRS on $1 million income, then that's just going to ruin their year. It's tough to help, so that's part of our job though, is we have
yeah,
to, I find that to be a much more challenging part of this job than getting the numbers right. The part of it that's getting people to think about things the right way in the long term. That's not the end goal. The end goal is to whatever you define it as. It's fund your lifestyle, leave a legacy, whatever.
it's tough. It's really difficult, but the end of the day, it all comes back to like our core philosophy, right? Which is just focus on what you can control.